Yeah. What do we head to next? We're back in Eleanor's, and this you really get a glimpse of Chidi's little corner that we put together, and his little nook, and the book that she has that she's reading. And I don't remember
what we owe each other.
Yeah, and then Da Vinci Code. So yeah.
Yeah, we were going to use the real one, and then at the last minute, NBC says, no, change it up. So I think, Graham, you were so like, what? We can't use this? We could have, and then so I brought in a graphic person for the day, and she did 3 different ones, and NBC approved one. It's pretty simple.
Quickly, we move on to Tahani's.
Oh, sorry. I guess calling a book trash book that they wouldn't couldn't give it the clearance by calling it a trash book. So.
Is that the book that you guys made the bikini? Oh, you talked about that, the bookmark. Because I have a picture of you guys cutting out the bookmark thong.
Oh, that was from the prior episode. Yeah,
got it.
That got cut. I mean, did that make air? The thong bookmark?
It did. But isn't it?
I don't remember it, but
son of a bitch.
I know that went round and round and round a lot.
Because I thought it was right at the end, and everybody was like, "Holy shit, we gotta go! Get this thong bookmark."
That sounds about right.
Speaking of thong bookmarks, then we go to the Pizza Palace. Which is a redress of our backlogged set, the peanut butter and jelly and everything. Was that it? And that's it.
Yeah, PB&J.
PB&J, and that's it. Which I would go to that restaurant if it existed. But you redid this in a sense of like putting in tons of extra little elements in here, and is the wainscoting painted? Like you repainted? What else did you have done?
Yeah, we repainted everything in there. We had actually changed it from PB&J to, Adam, do you remember what we changed it to?
It was the Simulation Cafe.
That's right, the Simulation Cafe. So we changed it that, and then once we went to Tahani's Perfect Pizza, we had to change it again. And so we basically just went through it and redid as much as we could. We left some of the stuff in there. You can sort of recognize like the wood posts that are in the background in one shot. But yeah, we basically tried to change as much as we could and make it just feel Italian. So of course you just throw down the checked tablecloth and it's Italian.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do a check.
Italian. I mean, we learned that on Tom's Bistro.
If you look, I didn't do check. I did stripes. I didn't.
That's right. That's
I didn't give
right.
A check.
We had discussed the checks, I think.
I said
stripes.
Tahani would make it more up. We're gonna go above.
Right.
We're gonna go above check. We're gonna do stripe. And all of the Chianti bottles will have perfectly formed purple flowers coming out of them. I mean, there's a lot of thought went into this, like, upper crust pizza place, I must say.
Upper crust.
Yes. You like that? Bum. Yes. Hey, Gay, do they ever say, like, hey, can you just give me some real wine?
These guys, no. And then the pizza was actually, though, that was cool. And none of them could have gluten or cheese.
Oh my God.
So that's not really a pizza at all.
Well, so half of it's pizza and the other half, so we always had to tell poor Julie had to make sure that she had to keep resetting where the slice was going, that they would pull, because one could have this and one could have that. But you know what? You can't tell on camera that they're different hybrids. I don't think.
No, I don't think you could tell at all. I didn't know that. I mean, I just thought they just didn't take bites or some shit. Like, I don't know how you deal with all the, like, doing this and doing that and oops.
On that one, you hire a pizza guy to come pull his truck up 100 feet away. Yeah.
Well, after the scene, they go back to Eleanor's for a moment, and then they jump back into Michael's office, which we get to see the pictures that we had put up, I think, in one episode prior, or 2 episodes prior, of the four of them that replaces Doug, and so we put the 4 of them up there. I remember it being a discussion of, like, who goes where, and Eleanor shouldn't be first, even though she should be first, and all that jazz of a great discussion with too many people having input. But the pictures are up there. And then also, I think, Gay, you had the medal that Michael had, and had it put in a frame, and it's underneath the clock. I don't think I put that in there. Did you?
Yeah, I put it in. It's just one of those things like, well, what would he have done with his?
Yeah.
Mounted in his office just to see it again.
Yeah. And that, I think, was like mid-season that medal happened, I think. I don't quite remember.
No, it just happened 2 episodes before.
2 episodes before.
Yeah. His architect medal that Graham and I designed. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We then go to, I believe, Greece, which we didn't get to go to. So.
But we bled for it.
Listen, yeah, so what did we have to send for these people to have a good 2 weeks away in Paris and Greece without us? How much prep did we have to have? And I mean, I think there was actually a minimal amount of meetings, because a lot of it was they just shot what it was.
It was very restrictive from what I remember. They could only be certain places, and I think that if I remember correctly, the Acropolis, they weren't allowed to be on the grounds of the Acropolis because they were saying things about philosophers, even though they were all very nice things. They did not want them there, but they could walk along other areas. So I think it was very minimal in terms of what we could send or do or prepare for.
One thing that I think is great, I did talk to that alley you just zoomed past.
Yes.
Looks a lot like Flower Alley, and
Yeah.
I found that to be really interesting that they found a place that looked like what our backlot looked like, and they didn't have to do anything. It looked like that naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just think, Kim, you didn't even have to do any flowers there.
I know, I didn't have to do any flowers. I didn't have to do any color umbrellas. I kind of feel like they might have decorated that alley like The Good Place. I think it works in reverse.
I see.
And then I think they scouted it, and then they found it, and I think it all just synergized together. That's all. And then we didn't get to go to Paris, but looks like they had a good time.
That's what I say when I say we bled for it. Our budgets were all cut so much in order, obviously,
so true.
to go. I mean, it has to come out of something.
Yeah, so true. There, it's got a.
Yeah, they planned budgetarily on that since day one. We budget cut every step of the way so that they could go to Greece and Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, when they want a Paris restaurant, they go to the Valley.
Yeah.
And we just make a restaurant that looks like it should be in Paris. That's all. Gay, you've got some gorgeous cork menus there, I must say. And,
In the kit.
This location was, I think, really nice. We spiffied it up a little bit, and French artwork, and yeah.
And it is a beautiful restaurant.
Yeah, it's pretty. I forget the name of it, though. And
When we were in there, it did feel like a French restaurant.
Yeah.
And the owner was French or Italian, forgot.
I think it is a French restaurant, if I'm not mistaken.
I think because they made the food. You're right. They made the food, and they had all the,
Marisol, is that right?
Oh, Marisol, yes.
on Ventura.
Yeah.
And then we get another flash of What We Owe Each Other, the book. Very nice. Very nice little plug there. And then where do we go?
We go to the coffee shop. Oh no, the coffee shop's with Michael.
Oh no! Now it's like
Eleanor's
Cheaty's
apartment.
Cheaty's last hurrah in Eleanor's, and Then we have them sitting watching the sunset, which was so sad.
So great.
So sweet.
You will not believe how many emails I got about the pillows on this sofa.
Really?
Yeah, couple. I was surprising that the people are paying attention to those pillows, but that's cool. Whatever you want. I'm here to answer your questions. That's all. Sad. All right, I'm trying to fast forward. Total CGI perfect sunset, and then we get into Eleanor in bed with her calendar. So let's talk about the calendar a little bit, made by Gay and Graham, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a photo shoot with. There were more setups in this. I think they whittled it down, but I feel like he did 20 or so different looks, if I remember correctly.
I think we did at least 12 different looks. We were giving them enough, from sexy to playful to studious to funny. How many did we end up seeing in there? 3 or 4?
I mean, we made the full calendar. There was a full and complete calendar, but I don't know what actually got seen.
Also, you can find that on Etsy.
Yeah. Well, they show it again on the wall.
Will was very reluctant. He didn't really want to do it. And then he's very happy at the end, and he said, "You're right, my girlfriend does want it. Do you have a copy I can give her?"
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
And he's
I
jacked.
remember.
He's got no reason not to want to rip his shirt off.
Oh,
I had to force him to take his shirt off.
Wow.
It sounded like you said you had to force him.
yeah, that sounds gay. That could
That's
totally
what
be
I
taken
thought
out of
she said.
context.
I added another one.
Force
Yeah,
him.
usually a threesome. But yeah, I forced him, but let's cut that. I did not force him.
That's the best part of this podcast. It does come up again in I think a scene or two where she flips through it on the wall, so we do see more of it. This, if you
Right,
catch,
when she changes months. And I remember there were a lot of discussions about what the month should look like, because I remember when Graham had first designed it and we took it into Mike, he said, no, it looks too much like a real
calendar.
yeah, but we had already
I
had
don't
that
want it
calendar in the
that way."
accountant's office, didn't we?
Right, but that was the first pass of that accountant's office, was where it was it was a little bit more of a traditional calendar. And so then we
Yeah.
added more. And then on this one, it was just changing the months slightly. I think I didn't do 12 months, but it was like alternating between 2 so that each month didn't look exactly the same.
Nice.
Although all the text was exactly the same, which apparently somebody on Twitter translated.
Oh, really?
We're going to stop shooting everything in high definition.
Stop being so lazy, Graham. Stop being so lazy.
Oh, really? Well, did they translate the Pawnee Charter, Graham?
No, I don't think that was on screen. Well, actually, I think the only reason they were able to translate the calendars, I think KB or Chris Bell posted it. So they had a high res so that they could go in there and figure out how to translate it.
And what does it translate to?
I mean, it was all fine. It was mostly in jokes, and at a certain point, I didn't know what to write, and so I just took the lyrics from "Power of Love," the Huey Lewis song. So the second half of the calendar is the lyrics to "The Power of Love," which everybody was very confused by on Twitter.
They're looking for the meaning, right?
That is so fantastic. Now, were you listening to Power of Love, or like is that your inspiration
exactly
go-to?
What it was. No, it came on Spotify, but from here on out, it will be my go-to. It's just going to be Power of Love lyrics.
Anytime you have to use hieroglyphic language.
Yes, which will probably never happen again. But
Oh, I don't know.
That's awesome. My only thing in that bed scene was I gave her sheets that had little cactuses on it, so that it was a little throwback to Arizona. But I thought the birds sort of theme for their bedding of like just not like little birds together and a little like nuptial newlyweds. That's the only thought to me to make it that theme. But after that, we go back to the forest, which we have already talked about, but beautiful scenery. I mean, just beautiful. And Jason is stuck there for how many Baramies? I mean, it's like ridiculous.
Can we clarify too that it's The Power of Love by Huey Lewis and not Celine Dion, correct?
Yes, Huey Lewis. I mean, is one better than the other? I don't know, but Huey Lewis.
The Huey Lewis is better, I think. Well, I guess it depends on your mood.
Better, but, you know.
It depends on your mood.
I feel like if we would have got the Celine Dion version, there would have been a lot more crying going on in Graham's office anytime anybody walked in.
I just like the idea that people tried to figure out what that was and reading.
Well, people are really into it, man. What are you going to do? Look, the calendar comes up again. I'm sure people are freeze framing it on that one too. It's much clearer. And then we throw back to the I Love You scene, the Cannonball Run VHS that Gay had to come up with. That you've had, right? That you've had for a while.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the people that she's reading in Mindy's house? Our next set.
It's a people that she's always had. It has Pierce Brosnan on the cover.
Does she only have one magazine?
She's only got the one people.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I never realized that. That's fantastic. Mindy's house this season was a complete build from a location house that we had to essentially location set that we actually had to almost rebuild every time, repaint, recarpet, put in the half walls. So, but now this season you rebuilt it on set.
There was quite a few full episodes in Mindy's. We used Mindy's a lot.
We did.
Yeah.
Well, they had it to go to. I mean, it was great to have it on set and built, and it should have been something we had all along to help us out with that. And I feel like they probably would have they probably wouldn't have, but
it was quite a bit. I think that between paint department and set dressing, because we did have to go back to clean quite a bit after we gooed, and I've never everybody was just on it. Paint was fixing the walls, and they were painting the couch together with fabric and cleaning.
It was just one. I think for me it was just one chair out of everything. It was just like one chair. So no, it was it's fine.
Yeah, we cut sections of the carpet out and tried to match it and replace it with the stuff that we had left, and then they didn't make that anymore, and there was definitely a few little lines that you saw when you walked into the set, but never got caught on camera.
Oh, that's fine. We move on and on of sets that we had seen Architect's Office and Eleanor's, and then we come to where Eleanor's living room is then set up as this like human museum of things that Michael appreciates. Was that it? Forget.
It was all his earthly delights.
Delights, yes. Bowling balls and paper clips and the boomerang. There was like a boomerang in there, or not a boomerang, like slingshot is up there. I forget. There was like 7 or 8 different things that we had to specifically get, and then Graham made up all the little signs for, and they went to each one, and then it sort of gets cut out, which always sucks. But
yeah, and a lot of those were sort of throwbacks to the episode that they were on Earth. And Michael sort of, the Outback Steakhouse, the Australia thing, there was talk about the boomerang and all the things that he had collected while he was there. And I mean, unfortunately, you just can't get them all in because they are such sort of benign objects that most people are like, well, what is that all about? That's weird.
Yeah. I think that was I didn't watch season 1 because I didn't work on it. So
the human survival kit that he gets as a gift from them, I think, was the end of season 2. We put that in.
We then moved to the bridge again to our real froggy,
Mr. Jumpy pant legs. So.
Mr. Jumpy Legs looks like he's stoned in this one. He's pretty docile there. But yeah, full effect, full frog. We're at full frog maximum here, Gay.
Full frog max. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With your real frog that you had to get. And how do you get a frog wrangler? Is that Doug or is that you?
I imagine it was going to be a bigger frog, right? So, and then when Doug and those guys got the frogs, and when he shows up and he's that little tiny thing, I'm like, he's going to disappear in this, atrium. So, finding that balance of where we can get him and not make him disappear. Basically, having the wrangler see if he could stay on the sides or on that rock perfectly.
Oh my God.
And just pray.
We have the weirdest jobs, I swear.
That's
Or maybe
right.
Doug does. I don't know. We love you, Doug Smith. So then we go back to our bridge, but then we have our door, which we have seen a couple of times in past seasons. And what does the door plaque say on here? Because I can't quite get it.
Earth.
It just says Earth,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's just Earth.
Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful door. Do you have that at home, Ian? Did you take that?
No, I think it was a little too big for my house, but
Universal told us they wanted it. It was one of the only things they kept. Honestly, they threw out everything, but they kept that door.
They threw out everything. They threw out everything but the door. It's a sin.
yeah, custom design, custom manufactured.
It's a sin. And then our set extension's beautiful in that one. And then we go to Earth.